now.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Jim Garcia, Vice President of the Albuquerque Hispano Chamber of Commerce. And it's Monday, and it's a good Monday. And we're here with our New Mexico mutual partners doing our webinar today. And we are it's exciting for us to be able to bring to you the restaurant industry here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, but truly representing the entire state of New Mexico. We have Miss Carol White, heads up the Restaurant Association, and Leah Black with the Brewers Guild. We also have Sagar Grover and Randy Baker. So without further ado, I'd like to, Carol, if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself and telling our experts who you are.
So I'm Carol White, the CEO of the New Mexico Restaurant Association. I've been in the restaurant business for probably 40 years now, so I know a little bit about it. I do not own any restaurants at this point, but we have a membership organization of 1,200 restaurants throughout the state.
Well, thank you. And thank you for taking the time to be with us today. This is truly an expert panel together. Now we also have from the Brewers Guild, Miss Leah Black. And Leah, introduce yourself, please.
Thanks for having us on. I'm the Executive Director of the New Mexico Brewers Guild. I've been in this role just over a year, but I've been in the brewing industry for a decade. We actually have 81 members across the state of breweries. We also have associate members who are our allied trade member partners. And actually one of our brewer members is here in the conversation today, Randy.
You know, Randy is a professional consumer of beer, and I can attest to that many, many times that I've sat with them. So with that, Randy, tell us about yourself, Randy Baker, and Denise, by the way.
Hey, Randy Baker. Those of you who've never been down to Rio Bravo, never missed an opportunity. My wife and I have been in the Albuquerque scene since birth. So we're both from here. We've raised our kids here. We got in the brewery business in 2014. Had a lifelong commitment to the electrical industry with DRB Electric, but you know, we're all excited to see what's transpiring and get this thing back on the road. And it may be business not as usual for a while, but we're all excited to see about getting things going here. But we're great to be part of the panel today, and hopefully we can be informative to everybody and get this thing going.
Thank you, Randy, and thank you for hosting our Hispano Chamber event last week. Our first virtual Get Crafty event was that you guys did a really good job with that. Thanks for that.
Virtual beers, unfortunately.
Yes, we were there. But I was sitting next to you and I was drinking virtual root beers, but that was awesome. So with that, I want to also invite Sagar Grover with Twisters. And Sagar, I'm going to start by saying thank you. We started a program together called Feed the Frontline, and we have given thousands of meals out in the last month, and thanks to you and your team. So with that, Sagar Grover, please introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi everybody. My name is Sagar Grover, and I'm the CFO and Business Director for Twisters. I've been in this role for the last 3 or so years, and I've been with Twisters for 5 years now. Just hit the 5-year mark at the beginning of April. And really excited to be here. And Jim, thanks to you and the organization for helping us facilitate that Be the Frontlines program. I mean, it's something that we really wanted to do, but logistics were a challenge for us as we try to navigate everything that's going on. And you guys did a great job of coming through and helping us in that department. So thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Sagar, we couldn't have done it without you. And we had partnered up also with the Gladiators. So Gina, thank you for letting us have your Gladiators every single day. We were delivering sometimes not one, but two to the front line. And we were also delivering to non-conventional sources. We were doing the dispatchers and the dog pound. We actually delivered to the dog pound as well. So thank you, Sagar, for that. So here we are, folks. Now, my background is in the restaurant business, everybody, and my heart and my soul is there. I was in the restaurant business in corporate restaurants for 9 years total. Then I was with El Pinto Restaurant. So I love green chili. I loved my working in the restaurants. It never seemed like work, even though restaurateurs spend a lot of time and a lot of hours in working in their trade. Carol, man, this is a bump in the road. We know that it affects every single person of all businesses in our community, but you know, we love to go out and eat. This is the community, this area of the country, people want to go out to eat more than any other area in the country. So Carol, I'd love to have you give us just a little introduction and tell us about what's going on right now in the industry.
Well, I certainly hope you all are going out and getting takeout and delivery, of course. Um, and right now we're in hurry up and wait mode. We had indication from the governor that she was going to open on the 15th. And of course, that's coming up. Friday is the 15th, and we're still hoping to hear that she's going to open restaurants, but we're not encouraged. Her last press conference, she didn't seem to think that we were going to move into this next phase. And also we've heard from a couple of people in her office and on her recovery council that she's not going to open restaurants on the 15th. So right now we're just waiting to figure out what's going on. If you haven't read it, I wrote an article that was in the Journal of the Santa Fe New Mexican and the Las Cruces Sun News called Restaurants on the Brink. And it was just talking about how, you know, restaurants are a fragile business in the first place. And right now they're even more fragile, and we need a definitive date from the governor of when we're going to open. It's just imperative right now, because of course we're going to go out and buy perishable goods again, bring them into our restaurant, get them ready to prepare. And if she does not open us up, then we have more inventory that we can't use, that we've got to give away, that we've got to use for other things. So it's a real dicey situation for restaurants right now. We've already had 3% of our restaurants close, and probably another 5% will close if we don't get open soon. So one thing we're doing for our restaurants is daily calls. If you know a restaurateur out there, be sure that they're getting our information from nmrestaurants.org. Again, we're doing daily calls with them. Today we have a call with the National Restaurant Association talking about the payroll protection loans. So some of those things are helping them, but certainly getting back open will help the most. And we think we can do that responsibly and with our customers and employees in mind.
So Carol, in the industry, the restaurant industry, an incredible group of people, creative. Pivoting is probably key in the restaurant business because, you know, it's a live thing. You have one chance to make an impression, one chance to have great service, one chance or we're never coming back again. It's one of those businesses that work like that. So I get that. So Leah, tell us about this. How is this going to affect the Brewers Guild? Now we know there's supply chain issues with that. There's you know, work in place and getting all the equipment ready, and then also producing. So tell us about the unique nuances or problems in the beer industry.
Yeah, the biggest thing is the missing of bodies, and I'm sure Randy can attest to this. You know, people have been drinking. The good news is that when they're sad or happy or whatever, they still want to drink beer. The problem is that the quantity hasn't been there. You know, if you think about how many people come out and buy package currently, a lot of our members are still selling package right now. I encourage you to go get your beer, and everybody's being real safe about it. But just when people come to meet at a place, you know, if you think about the 1 to 3 beers per person, that when they come out and congregate, and you know, these are unprecedented times, so we've never seen anything like this. Some places have still been brewing, though the demand is small and they're still trying to get rid of what they have before, you know, when this kind of came to be, you want to get rid of your beer because beer does go bad. But some brewers are still brewing in a small way, and I'm sure Randy can talk about this too. But a lot of our smaller breweries, they've ceased brewing. The brewers are sort of, you know, waiting to know when they can come back into their precious little brew houses and start brewing again. So there's a lot of factors involved, and as you said, there's a supply chain. So it's not just the beer. There's a lot of ingredients that are involved in the beer. And while we like to source as much as possible here in New Mexico locally, that's not always the case for the large amount that we need to order. So as Randy knows, you know, we order hops from the Pacific Northwest. We order barley from, you know, all over the U.S. So these types of things are the hard pieces of the chain that brewers don't know when they can order again to then put into the ingredients of their recipe of their beers. So right now it is, as Carol said, it's a hurry up and wait. It's a waiting game. Mm-hmm. We would love to have some definite details, and I hear the governor is going to be speaking on that very soon. Just, you know, the only thing that I am telling everyone, and this is really cool coming from our Brewers Association, which is our national association, they have launched today, it's American Craft Beer Week. So they are encouraging you to give the gift of craft, whether it's beer to someone or gift cards or merchandise. Go out to these small breweries, and if you have your own stockpile in your house for when you want to drink a cold one, give it to somebody that you know loves craft beer. So American Craft Beer Week, it's all over social media. It starts today and it runs through the 17th, which is Sunday. And we're just trying to remind people, you know, you don't have to buy the product, but gift cards are great too. And it's also that little nugget of when all this is over, we can all enjoy on a sunny patio and cheers and be grateful for this industry that we have in New Mexico.
Yeah, you know, I wish I would have known that. I would have brought my mom a big jug of beer yesterday instead of just driving by her house and honking the horns. But yeah, she would have loved that. She would not have loved that at all. So with that, Randy, I wanna ask you, because we were at your business last week, and I know you have your employees there. Talk a little bit about the employees that you were able to keep and how you're keeping them busy, because your place was amazing. It would look like it was just cleaned and shined and disinfected and looked great. But tell us a little bit about what you're doing when you open, how you're going to spread things out.
Well, I'm not too sure how the law of the land is going to be proposed to us. I think that if you give the industry guidelines, we can all figure out how to best take care of our customers and our employees in a safe manner. You know, I'm not too sure if it's going to be more dictatorial as to how we do it and have to handle it, or if we can at least, you know, every building presents a different issue. We have a large floor plan at Rio Bravo, so we could keep social distancing at a great with great ease over there at the brewery. So, you know, we're focusing on how we can best separate our customers and yet still give them the service. And we've just cleaned. I mean, the place is cleaner now than the day we opened, and that's been 5 years ago. But I mean, it's shining pretty well over there. We've you disinfect the bathroom, the doors. We can, you know, our staff obviously are wearing masks while they're serving. Mm-hmm. But you know, there's still some confusion. You know, when we started this, only 6 people, only those who were ill needed to be wearing a mask. Now it's everybody needs to wear a mask. And I think we all just want to know what is it? Wear a mask, don't wear a mask. But we want to keep our customers, you know, as safe as possible. And we're doing what we can to make sure that service is carried through, not only with the Rio Bravo, but with the brewery industry and the restaurant industry. So we all want to meet the criteria of that as well as we can.
Yeah, that's a great answer. So here's what I think is going to happen, Sagar. I think what's going to happen is, as we start opening up, and we are in New Mexico here, we're sharp. We're going to be able to probably have some best practices that are going to be coming out of our state, because we're pretty aggressive with that. And I recognize that with your 18 stores that you have opening that have drive-throughs, you have, and you've just kind of replatformed how you're doing things in your packages. So kudos to you for keeping the staff that you're retaining. I know you're about 340 employees now. You have 60 that have actually participated in not coming back, but you'd like to get back up to your number of, 375 employees. Kudos to you, Sagar. Tell us some of the things that you and your company's Twisters are doing to keep this thing moving.
Yeah, sure, Jim. And as a company gets older, I mean, there's always these pressures on it to grow. And then going into the year, we were looking at it, okay, what are the things that we need to do to grow our business? And looking at the numbers, the irony of it is that, hey, our lobby customers actually have a higher average ticket than our drive-through customers. Let's focus all of our marketing efforts, getting people in the door. We did a lot of interior, makeovers and put new signage in the stores. And obviously right now, nobody's really going inside our restaurant. So that's been completely upended. On the flip side, it's given us an opportunity to really, really focus on what we do well. And that's drive-through, that's takeout. We won the Albuquerque The Magazine Best Takeout Award in 2019, actually. And we're really able to, we were surprised when we won it, because considering, all of our efforts were going into getting people the right customer experience. We serve our food on real plates. We bring the food out to them, as opposed to maybe McDonald's or another fast food. And so when we said best takeout, all of our efforts in one place and we're getting an award for another place is kind of funny. But now it's all takeout. And so we've been really, really hyper-focused on drive-through speeds, on takeout, and it's given us an opportunity to focus on what the customers recognize us for, more than necessarily what we were focusing on. And it's aligned the company all together and focusing on takeout. And like Randy said, there's been some confusion. on masks. I think when the governor announced it's required for all restaurants, she announced it at like a afternoon conference, and it was going into place the next day. Well, I mean, we have to let everybody know to wear masks the next day. So there has been some challenges to coordinate on that end, but our operation has been really solid, and it's creating new opportunities and new challenges. Is how do we get more cars through drive-through, because we don't have the double drive-throughs at our locations that maybe some of the other companies have, or some of the technology that they've invested in. And we always wondered, is that something that we want to invest in? Do we want to invest in the lobby component of it? And now it's giving us answers to those questions to think, okay, drive-through is going to be the future. What can we do to make sure that works the best? And it's certainly given us not a new purpose, but it's given us direction and an area to focus on and help us serve our customers the best way that we can.
Well, that's awesome. You guys are setting a good example. And what I really like about you guys, that you're not waiting around. From the very first phone call that me and you had, you were already re-platforming how you're going to do it. I went to your office. I saw the signs, new signs that were being made. There's just a lot going on with that. Carol, I want to ask you a question. I know we've read in the paper about the, milk being backed up, and what are we going to do with the milk? Are we going to just dump it away? Some of the beef industry and the pork industry is facing some shutdowns. How's that going to affect us here in New Mexico?
Well, it is going to affect us. And interestingly, since Texas, Arizona, and Colorado are already open, they're getting those supplies going to those states. And of course, since we're not open yet, the supplies are going to be late getting here. There's meat shortages across the nation, and they're real. I was a bit skeptical about it, but it's true, and it's all kinds of meat. It's beef, pork, and chicken. So restaurants are going to have to be very creative when they open. They may not have their full menu available to them. And so we're trying to make them aware that is one of the things they're going to have to deal with in this, as Randy put it, business not as usual.
Yeah, I agree with that. So ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning with us today. And I want to say just a shout out to New Mexico Mutual and also to New Mexico Tech for helping sponsor our events today and these webinars that we've been doing. They've been very informative, going around a lot. So Carol, I want to ask you another question to you. I know that a lot of the hotels are obviously closed and minimal staffing. I know Sagar, by the way, we fed the Crown Plaza the other day and they were very grateful. So Joni says thank you to that. How about the restaurants that are inside the hotels? I mean, it's the same thing. Or if they're going to open the hotels and the people need to eat, I mean, it's kind of a double negative.
Well, yeah, and it all depends on the capacity with which we get to come back. So at one point, the governor was talking about a 50% capacity, which is doable to some degree and really helps with that 6-foot distancing, right? So that's about at a 6-foot distancing, what most restaurants can do anyway is 50%. But if you try to bring us back at 25%, most restaurants that are not already doing some kind of business are not going to open at that. And same with hotels. Hotels are right now at a 25% capacity. And without at least a 50% capacity, they're not going to reopen, and neither are the restaurants that are within those hotels.
Yeah, I was a little worried being a chili broker for many years in the El Pinto days. I was worried about them getting the seeds planted in time, and it looks like the whole southern region is really, they've done very well to get the seeds in the ground. So that's great that the harvest is going to be on schedule. I know they're having a lot of trouble with the workers with that. So Leah, tell us a little bit about the brew industry, because it has just blossomed and it started, I think, give us a timeline, 5-7 years ago, it just started, and now we're kind of one of the top areas in the country for breweries. Tell us about that.
True, we are a little beer vana. Per capita, we're 10th in the nation, believe it or not, for breweries per capita. So it's amazing, how it has blossomed here. That's a perfect word for it. I've been in the beer industry just over a decade here in New Mexico, and I remember I got my start at La Cumbre Brewing all those years ago, and the real peak that we've seen was about 2014. It was the most breweries as far as what we have seen, the strongest year. And New Mexico, oddly enough, has been just growing ever since. nationally to join, but we have been on the incline ever since. And we've seen a lot more openings than we have closings, which is really nice. We don't know how it's going to shake out after all of this, but the big theme here is pivoting. We had it's what you can do right now, as everybody's been talking about. We had a really fun experimental virtual beer fest on Saturday. It was called Net Sesh Fest. So Internet Session Fest, Net Sesh Fest. And it was 2 hours of brewers from all over the state. We had over 40 attendees, and it was just a really fun way to show how resilient this industry is, and that we're still here. We're still brewing beer. We're waiting for you to just either come pick it up at Takeout or order it, when we open up back up again, which is hopefully very soon. So it's been growing, and we still have breweries that were just about to open right before this happened, and they're still hanging on. They're still waiting. They're still hoping for that. So we've got one on the west side of Albuquerque. We've got one right in downtown Albuquerque. They're just waiting for that little nugget when they say you can open your doors. So everybody is, if anything, hopeful, very hopeful, and sometimes they're smiling through the tears because it's been a really hard several weeks. But yeah, I'm just constantly impressed and reminded the strength and resiliency of the craft beer industry, a lot like the restaurant industry. It's mostly run by families, and these businesses really need our help. So if there's a night that you're feeling extra, maybe lazy, it's okay. Don't judge yourself. Go get takeout. Go get yourself a growler of beer. I mean, these businesses are so grateful. I went in to buy a growler the other day at Ponderosa Brewery, and I walked in. Of course, I was the only one there, and they were just so gracious and grateful that I chose to walk into those doors rather than somewhere else. And Randy, I'm sure that's the same sentiment when they come in and they tip your servers. It's just you're really helping out. So just keep on shopping local is the biggest thing that we can say to that, and just keep pivoting. All you businesses, keep pivoting.
So Alan just sent me a message, and he wants to know if he can buy his beer to go. Is that legal to do that?
It is legal. The thing that's not legal in New Mexico is drive-through, and the term curbside, we keep seeing our members do it, curbside is illegal. However, some breweries, they are permitted to sell beer on their patio. So a lot of them have made it a very safe zone. Randy, if you went to his place, he technically could have a table set up on their patio and they could be selling you beer from there. But a lot of them, if you check their websites or social media, you can call ahead and place your growler order or crowler cans or whatever you want, and then you can get your beer to go. Absolutely. There's a ton of places open right now, like Rio Bravo Brewing.
So I was at Randy's place when they were doing crowler training. So there's a lot of people that don't know what a crowler is. Randy, tell everybody what this crowler deal is.
Jim, I'd love to. The crowler can, of course, is a new means of taking your beer home with you. And it's a 32-ounce can. So you can take the can. What we do, we were training them all how to purge the oxygen by putting CO2 in the can, then putting the lid on it and carrying it over to fill the specific beer that you choose to take home with you. Then you put the lid on it, take it over there, put it on the seamer, rinse the can off, and it's ready to go. It's that simple. And it's kind of it's really helped us out. We were always doing growlers, but then as health issues and concerns came along, bringing in a growler and having it cleaned, people were starting to question whether or not that was the best way to do it. We ended up selling out all of our growlers, of course, but the crowler machine came in at a opportune time, and we've been utilizing that for our customers, and they really love it. So
yeah.
If you have a favorite brewery that has a crowler machine, go down there and pick one up. It's 32 ounces, 2 ounces, so how many beers you had, you could always say just one. You don't have to tell her the 32 ounce can, but
one very large beer.
Yeah, and the cool thing about those cans are you can, like, if you like to go, say you want to go on a hike right now, or you like to go outdoors, it was a bit cumbersome to carry a big old glass growler. So now with the growlers, you can carry them in your backpack and you consume them wherever you go, and then you can smush them down because they're aluminum. So it's kind of a nice, it's more friendly to carry out with you.
And Randy was telling me that the shelf life's a little longer on those too, and I can understand that because of the sealing, the way they seal them. Sagar, I have a question for you. So restaurants are doing a great job. They're very creative. They're putting packages together where you can bring it at home. I went to Les Combs and I bought 4 ribeye steaks, and they have them seasoned, and they have the butter packets with them. And then I bought pasta, and we've been really going around and doing a lot of that. is Twisters thinking about doing any pre-packaging of bulk foods for parties, things like that at this time?
Yeah, sure, Jim. Yeah, absolutely. Restaurants have always been a creative business. I mean, you have creative chefs that have come up with recipes for generations and for hundreds of years throughout history, and that it's extended in the business side of things. For us specifically, that's not something that we believe in terms of pre-prepared foods or giving somebody cold food to cook at home.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a place for that, but when it comes to Twisters, we want to give somebody fresh. Our entire, operating model and selling point is that we don't make it until you order it. And so we assemble our food fresh, and we want to continue to be that avenue of fresh food for people. We give large portions at affordable pricing, and we do have several bulk items. We have family packs, party packs, fiesta packs, the 3 different menu items on our plate. And we also have a lot of a la carte sides that we've repurposed as things that we've done for our caterings. And you can buy maybe a pint of rice or a pint of beans or meat that you can use to accompany your meal. So we always encourage any customer going through drive-through, hey, if you're getting a burrito today, take something home for you tomorrow, and it'll do really well. And you reheat it and go from there. So when it comes to a prepackaged like meal, like a date night, I think certainly the restaurants that traditionally would serve those customers, they're doing a great job of continuing to give people special moments. And for us, our core business is more of a value and more of a what's the right word that I'm thinking of, is just the craving. You want to satisfy your craving today, and Twisters is here to give you that craving.
That's awesome. So Carol, here we are. We're great Southwestern hospitality. The best service in the country is right here in New Mexico. And we know that. We're coming up to, really going to be coming up to the fall. So that's the Burrito Byway, the great green chili cheeseburger contest that's held at the State Fair. Thank you. I have 2 belt buckles. I've won 2 of those, one with Sadie's and one with El Pinto with that. But, Carol, we're known for our great Southwestern hospitality here. How do we get that back? How do we get our mojo back with the service part?
I think right now it's going to be that we're showing our customers that we care about their safety, that we're showing our employees that we care about their safety. And I was very surprised when the governor came out and said everybody's wearing masks and they're doing it tomorrow, right? Mm-hmm. Don't give us a chance to source this. Don't give us a chance to buy these things. But a lot of folks have done it. And I'll tell you what, as much as we don't know exactly what masks do, and we're pretty sure that washing hands is better than glove wearing, if it makes our customers feel better that we're wearing masks and we're wearing gloves, then I think that's the right thing to do right now, because we are in the consumer confidence business.
Yes.
And we really need to make them feel comfortable coming back to us. One thing I've heard is that in other states, customers feel much more comfortable coming back to a patio situation, to an outdoor situation. So for those restaurateurs that are on this, think about that and think about how you can utilize your space, your outdoor space, maybe a little bit more during this time, because they are that much more comfortable sitting outside. And of course, we have beautiful weather for that until it gets windy.
Yeah, until it gets windy. That's not till the spring. So let's go around the horn. We're going to start a wrap here. We have some great ideas that have come out. I love the takeout delivery, the daily calls. Thank you, Carol, for that. I think we need to be calling our peeps out. Sagar, I just want you to know the number 8 loaded is my favorite burrito. So I'm a regular on the drive-thru there. I commend you for the great service that you have. I've never eaten in one of your restaurants without a manager coming up to me and asking me how everything was personally, and that's been for years now. So thank you for that. So Sagar, tell us about what you're doing. What's the future look like for Twisters?
Yeah, Jim, you touched on a great point. We've always prided ourselves in the service we gave our customers, our managers. They have regulars that they know that by face when they walk in that door, hey, burger down, before the customer even orders it, because they're so regular. We've been training our people in that mindset, but today when people are not coming in the door, it's a totally different mindset. So when you say about the future, it's all about how do we give that customer service that we're known for in a setting where you may not be face-to-face with that customer. And so we're looking at a lot of digital platforms. We've already partnered with Lavu locally in town to create another digital online ordering to supplement and hopefully maybe one day replace some of these other third-party, the DoorDashes and Grubhubs of the world, because we don't get to know our customer that way. I get a call from Grubhub saying, hey, you have an order coming up in 10 minutes for a burger. Great. I have no idea who ordered it, what their feedback is. I mean, can they order it again? If they want a burger, can we get some fries? So whether that's this Lavu solution or another solution in the future, it's all about how do you deliver customer service and getting to know your customer in a setting where, I mean, you may not see that customer face to face. So now we started the Lavu online ordering. We put it probably the last day of April in place, and we've been using it for about a week. I know exactly who my customers are, what they're ordering, and it's only been about a week, but going forward, I'll know, okay, do they order once a week? Do they order once a month? Do they order once every 6 months? And what do we need to do to get that going? We started a text marketing campaign program. Pepsi's been a great help in this process where they made some additional resources available and found a company called Mobivity that's helping us put text messaging platform in place. So that's another one that, hey, if you text this number, you get a free churro on your visit, and they already have it built in so people can't abuse the system or anything else like that. I don't know if you heard about the guy who went to 11 different Wendy's to get 4 free nuggets before Wendy's kind of caught him or cracked down, like, what's this guy doing? So this system is already kind of foolproof and has safeguards where if they get a free churro, the minute they hit redeem, it only gives them like a 2-minute timer to actually use it. And once they use it, it's done. But certainly that gives us more ways to talk to and communicate with our customers. We're really doubling down on our Christmas Club loyalty, which is an email marketing kind of component of it. So really want to tell the story of Twisters, tell people what we're doing, and find more ways to get our message across. And that's the key in the short, and which hopefully pays off in the long term as well.
You know, that's great information. You guys are ahead of the game. You're not waiting. You're not sitting down and just waiting for things to happen like Randy is. Just kidding. Denise just sent us a message, and she was answering the question about taking out. So thank you, your wife Denise, for calling us, letting us know about that. Randy, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What's going on? How are you going to get back?
I want to tell Sagar one thing. Since DRB Electric is at second Rio Bravo, my team frequents you about 2 times a week, and they all get the same. So, and then we've done some work for you in the past. I don't know if you know that.
Yep,
DRB Electric.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
We appreciate you furnishing the great food down here, and the way you guys handle it down there is superb.
Thank you,
Jim. What we're trying to do is just make sure that we're ready. And you know, I was hoping with the team that'd been assigned to get us back on track. You know, we'd have more definitive answers right now, so we could all be a little bit more prepared than to find out the day before we're able to open all the guidelines that we'll put in place. So hopefully we can, you know, identify what those needs and wants are going to be, and what's going to be required of all of us to go forward. But as going forward, we're trying to do the same thing everybody else is, try to come up with new creative ways of marketing. You know, we released a Quarantine King beer here recently that my daughter did all the artwork for, and it was just something that they wanted to do that was different, you know, to kind of meet with the times. It was very successful. But you know, I think what we're trying to do is like anybody else, redefine ourselves, make sure that we understand what we're going to be required to do as far as spacing. I talked to Leah about, she sent me something about shower curtains between tables, and I thought that was so creative for, you know, tap rooms even or whatever. But we do have a lot of outdoor space. Unfortunately, we just recently remodeled and put a front patio up in the front of our building, which is shaded and ready to go. But we look forward to being able to fill some seats out there on the patio.
Good job.
I think we're just trying to do like everybody else and anticipate when they're going to drop the green flag and make sure you're in position to get out in front. But we've all got to do it in a safe, wise way. But it's certainly going to challenge us all on how creative we can be to meet the criteria of the future.
That's awesome. Thank you. So Leah, we have American Craft Brew Week. When is that, and what's next for you?
So American Craft Beer Week starts right now. It's today, May 11th, right now through May 17th. So it's all this week. The Brewers Association, it's kind of kicked off as an initiative to get people to give the gift of craft. So if you yourself love craft, I'm sure you know other people that love craft. You might have a full fridge because you've been out frequenting local places. So they're just saying, we want you to think about someone else in this time. So gift cards, merch. If there's beer that you just don't need, just think about those little nuggets that are still keeping these small businesses going. Same for restaurants. We have a lot of breweries that are restaurants like Rio Bravo. But those gift cards are kind of an insurance that we're all going to get together after this and rejoice and cheers on a patio somewhere or get takeout and use it as you wish. but American Craft Beer Week is right now. So it's all over our social media, and you can follow us on all the platforms. We're NM Brewers Guild.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. So Carol, man, you got the weight of the world on you, and I know that. And you're the one to have that job. You're the one to help circle the wagons. So we have a special session that's going to probably coming up in June. So any words of wisdom for our legislators? Because I think if anybody can open up an industry, we are set for that. Give us your insight on that.
So we have quite a few ideas for the legislature, just to help restaurants continue, because by then we'll either be open or dead in the water. So, but we have a list of suggestions for the legislature. And as a matter of fact, we're meeting with a state legislator this week, and he's ready to get on top of all of those suggestions and figure out how we can get it done in New Mexico. And in order to keep restaurants open, because honestly, I mean, you know how the cash flow goes. They've used up their cash flow during this close time, just paying their rent or the things that they have to pay. And they have nothing to reopen with, except maybe a payroll protection loan. And a lot of them are doing that, but that only works for the next 1.5 months because they have already used part of that up. So it's just getting them up and keeping them there with the amount of money that they have until we can get some of this relief from the state, if we can get relief from the state.
Well, that's good. Well, we are glad that we have a leader like you and Leah in the Brewers Guild industry as well. Fantastic. The restaurant guys, thank you for setting the pace for everybody, for staying open at a loss. You still have a happy face, Randy. It was great speaking with you last week, and I love your attitude. We're the hospitality industry, we're the restaurant business, and we got a lot of things that we have to get going. So on behalf of the Albuquerque Hispano Chamber of Commerce, New Mexico Mutual, and New Mexico Tech, I just want to thank you all. You all are leaders. You're setting the bar high for us, and we're ready to open this. Governor, let us open these restaurants. Let us start staging these restaurants open at a pace. We know how to do this. Those of you restaurateurs that aren't familiar with HACCP models, please look at the 7 principles of HACCP. Learn about your critical control points and how to intervene in those critical control points so you can keep your customers safe. They want to feel safe, and ding dong, we want to get out and buy. So I know I have my twin brother lives 2 doors down, so we get to share food. And tonight we picked, I think we're doing Les Combs again tonight. So we're going out. Twisters, I'm laying off Twisters. I've had enough Twisters for no, I'm kidding. I had Twisters 3 times last week and I still love it. So you all, thank you all for your time today. I appreciate you staying on with us. And let's all be safe.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Jim.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Thank you all. It's a pleasure.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
See ya.